Welcome, Collis.
Yes, nice to be here.
Right. So, at what age did you get saved?
And actually, I got baptized at a very young age, but I didn't think I meant I understood what I was getting into. So I would say like about, I would say about 14. That was the first time I got baptized.
And what is your salvation story?
My salvation story is just basically God willing to sacrifice his son for my life and this understanding and coming to the point of on knowing that God really wanted to save me from a life of destruction. Being a person that grew up with a mother that was a Christian, I had to walk a different path, and I still got the opportunity to swing that around and to start to live for God. So I would just say, just thankful for God's mercy to be able to survive through the trials.
Okay. Can you give me one testimony? That
Plenty testimonies, but basically, I got arrested at a young age. At the age, it's about 15 in Form 4. I was charged for possession and trafficking of marijuana. And I was also placed on a 2 years good behavior bond to keep the peace, which I had to keep the peace for 2 years. I did keep the peace for 2 years, but it was a life-changing experience. So it was a turn in the tide of looking at where you could end up, and later on in life understanding that one mistake could have cost your whole future. I did bounce back from that, but that was a key point in my life.
and what would have led you down that path initially?
I will say following friends, bad company, keeping the wrong company has a lot to do with the decisions you make sometime in life. Sometimes your parents might be warning you, but you just don't see it. Just lack of understanding, you just not at the age to really fully see it. You just see friends as just you like to line with them because and that it's like your brothers. But sometimes bad company rubs off and you pick up certain habits. So I had a close friend of mine. His brother used to sell like drugs and thing, and actually like when he going to collect like drugs and thing for his brother, we used to pass through the drains. Each of the drains were connected to each street. So instead of going out on the main road, we used to pass through the drains to get to each street so nobody can see out on the road. And sometimes he would take out a portion and he would give me and I would keep it. So we would have, and then we used to make all the little joints and roll on and thing to go to school to sell.
And what would be the spiritual turning point for you?
Spiritual turning point actually for me was at a very older age, but I didn't think I really wanted that Christian life. I didn't have no desire to be a Christian. I didn't have no likeness to be a Christian. All I know that my mother taught me about it. I saw my mother living that lifestyle, and she was a perfect example of how a Christian should live. But me myself, I didn't really want no part. It's just constant warning, seeing things happening, I just honestly just started to feel like if it had no joy in it, I started to just feel like just, I don't know if it was the spirit, I don't know if it was prayers, I don't know. I just started to kind of just see like something and not working and not feeling right. Again, fed up. As much as it nice and it enjoying and parties and girls and this and that, I could look and see that, okay, if you continue along this path, it had to have an end. So you had to be heading to something if you're on a path. And the path that I was on, I actually heard God saying, if you continue on this path, is either you're going to kill somebody, somebody's going to kill you, or you're going to end up in jail. So these are the three options you have if you continue on that path. So my decision within that, sitting and hearing that, was to see how I could navigate off of that path. And that started the process. It started very slowly, but it started from just withdrawing from friends, just still smoking, still drinking, but keeping within by myself. And that is where I began to grow by myself. I started to kind of ease off of these sort of partners and things till I find myself.
And what have changed in your life since becoming a Christian?
Many things have changed. Since I became a Christian, I've learned to really conquer myself as it relates to your emotions and the way in which you think and the things in which you do. I had bounced upon a scripture that says, he who conquers himself can never be conquered. And I found that was kind of a really nice scripture, I say, well, and it say, a man who controlleth his anger is mightier than a man who taketh a city. So when I read that in Proverbs, it struck a chord. So I said, so the way that we function in the world is actually a sign of weakness. So I began to try to master. First thing I say, I started to try to keep my tongue from using obscene. So I began to start to do that from reading the Bible. I will bounce upon like little scriptures and you'll say, the tongue is like a rudder that steers a ship. And if you learn to control the tongue, you'll be able to steer your whole body. So I began to start to try to control the tongue with the words that will come out of my mouth. So that I began to get the hang of it. It took a while, but eventually that began to, bear fruit gradually.
And if you were to encourage persons to surrender their lives to Christ, how would that sound?
To surrender, my approach to telling somebody to surrender their life is to let my life be an example, right? Because I realize that your life is the only testimony that speaks loud. Your life is a testimony in which you live, in which you deal with people that reflects God's love and reflects the same Christianity that we talk about, right? So you telling somebody about Christ and things, you have to show that, okay, the God that you serve is being favorable to you, being blessed. You're moving up in life, something happening for you, you have to be blessed, something, you have to show the fruits of God upon your life. And I try to be not judgmental to people where they're at, just understanding where they're at and trying to understand, to let them know that, okay, it is a different way to do it, but without trying to tell them, okay, you have to try to live the way that I am living. So, okay, if I go to lie with anybody that I know from before and maybe they may be drinking or they're smoking, I will try to tell them I don't smoke or don't drink or not. I allow them to be themselves because sinners could only sin, right? That is my conviction until they get the revelation. But what I understand is that they are always looking at, our lives, the way in which we live and seeking. But whenever I get the opportunity, I just seek to just inject whatever knowledge I have to them and tell them what it is I think they may need at that point in time. That is just how my approach is be to witnessing to somebody. Not coming like direct and telling them, but indirectly.
What helps you to hold on?
What helps me to hold on? I think what helps me to hold on is actually revelation of God's truth in His Word and understanding that okay, it's not a story. But most people just feel it's a story. Yeah, them just talking a set of sharpness because they just look at Christians as them is a bunch of jokers. And that is how most people in the world sometimes look at Christians, look at them as a bunch of jokers. Because sometimes they're saying one thing, but their life not reflecting what they're saying. Understand? Yes. What actually helped me to hold on is actually understanding that what God says in His Word, especially in, let me say, Revelation, like to those who are disobedient, those who are rebellious, is truth, and there is a judgment, and you have to either choose to either live in eternity with God or live in eternity with the devil, with pain and torment, or live with God with peace and joy. Now that might seem like a Nancy story to some, but being in deliverance and other activities, sometimes you just get to really see a different side of the spiritual realm. So that helps me and motivates me to hold on to God even more, knowing that it's really serious. It's not a game. Life is actually, to me, like a test for each person.
And is there a specific Bible verse that impacts you or you utilize?
One particular Bible verse that actually impacted my life was Proverbs 22:4. By humility and the fear of the Lord are honor, riches, and life. And starting to read the book of Proverbs, it said in the book of Proverbs, wisdom is the principal thing, and then it came around and talk about the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. But when I bounce up on that particular scripture verse, where it said, by humility and the fear of the Lord are honor, riches, and life, all these things will be added unto you. So that was a key scripture that I always try to practice and to hold on as my trademark, to be humble and to always demonstrate the fear of the Lord, to have respect and honor to the Lord.
One advice to the unsaved or to the youths who may be going down the same direction that you went down. What is one advice that you would give to them?
Try to find God before it's too late. In your secret time, ask God from your heart to reveal Himself to you. And don't try to condemn yourself. You may make mistakes, but God knows your true heart. So if you feel like sometimes you maybe don't like it, you don't want to live that particular life, you don't believe in God, ask Him to prove Himself there. Let's be real with God. Don't try to be pretensive, because a lot of people just try to pretend to God. Pretend to God. God knows all the filth that is inside of you. So you just have to be real with God. You have to let Him know that this is how I am, this is how I feel, and I would like you to help me to change to be a better person. So that, with that approach, I think you could find your way from there. I think you'll be willing to work with you from that grounds. And everything else, the blessing is be actually in the process. So people doesn't like to make mistakes, but the blessing is actually be where God is impart all the strength and all the discipline to be able to stand when you reach a particular time in your life. So don't reject your mistakes sometimes. They are there for a purpose and maybe for a testimony for somebody else.